Hey guys, Mike with Gettin Greasy Garage, and yeah, that is a Volkswagen 1600 dual port. That's about all I really know about it. My neighbor bought an old vintage sand rail dune buggy thing, and this was in it. It's locked up, won't turn over. He had already put, tranny fluid and stuff like that in the ports, trying to get it to unseize. Didn't have any luck with it, so he pulled everything off it that he wanted. And since I like to play with engines, I went ahead and picked it up. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I do want to pull it apart, see if it's salvageable. I know that pistons and jugs and stuff for these are not horribly expensive, and I guess if I could get it running, then maybe I could justify buying a dune buggy or an old rail or something to put this in. You never know. Or get it running good and sell it, or trade it, or who knows. But I've never been inside of one of these, and I thought, what a great opportunity to have a look. So anyway, I'll get you guys on the tripod here, and we'll get the tins off, distributor out, generator tower, and valve covers off, and see what we got. Alright guys, so got you on the tripod. Let's pop these bales off the valve covers. See how bad it looks inside. Oh, actually looks surprisingly better than I thought. I don't know how well you can see it, but I don't know. These heads might have been rebuilt at some point, because it's not all black and funky inside of there. So let's get this other side off, and then we'll take a quicker look, or a closer look. Alright, got the rails off. Yeah, doesn't look horrible. So let me pull you guys off the tripod here, and we'll have a look. Okay, so this would be the left side of the motor, and if you look back in there at that cylinder head, it's really clean. Rocker shafts are good. I mean, there's a little bit of rust, but that's more just moisture. So that's a good sign, and water didn't pour out. So I think we'll continue into this thing. I kind of thought if I got this far and everything was just a big ball of rust, we probably wouldn't proceed. But even this side, well, I mean, there's surface rust, but again, this thing was outside not under a tarp for a long time. But look how clean that is back there. So surprisingly, I don't know, when I see stuff like that, that tells me at some point this thing was taken care of or freshly rebuilt. So I'll get you up on the tripod here, and we'll get the tins off next. Alright guys, well, as you can see, we got both the top heat shields off. I had to use these guys, and I'll show you the big one. The splined net remover things to take the little flat-headed screws out of these heads. They're pretty corroded, so it does work pretty good for nuts and screws that you can pound that thing down over the head. So So I think the next thing I'll do is go ahead and take the rocker assemblies off both sides and get them out of the way. And then we're going to pull the cylinder heads off and see what we got. So I'll get the rocker assemblies off here real quick. Alright guys, got the passenger side or right side of the engine here. I got all the head bolts, studs loose, whatever. A couple of the studs came out. That's probably typical. I do want to do this, hopefully, without breaking the fins off. So, might be moving a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. So, I'm going to fiddle with this. It's going to come off here a lot harder than I thought, obviously. And then I'll bring you guys back when there's something to see. Well, I got this thing apart. I got the heads and the jugs off. Let's just say I had to get a little bit medieval. So the rods aren't seized up. Got both sides off. I did find on this motor a heat tab right there that is not melted, so the thing never got hot, because those heat tabs melt pretty easy. I think they melt at like 220, 230. So it never got hot. This motor was pretty fresh. I mean, you can see the amount of buildup. I haven't even wiped this piston off. So it was a pretty fresh motor. The heads, like I showed earlier, were pretty clean inside. The jugs are junk. They're just full of rust. The pistons were stuck in them. So I don't know how I'm going to get the jugs off yet, other than split them. But I did get medieval and break a bunch of pins off, which I knew they'd be junk. They're not horribly expensive if I decide to put this thing back together. At this point, you know, the heads are kind of the value. But I'm not writing off this bottom end. I mean, it does turn, so that means there was still oil in the bearings. I don't know what the cam looks like. At some point, I'll go ahead and pull the block apart. You know, here's a piece of the bottom of the cylinder. But yeah, this little Volkswagen motor, you can see she's pretty ugly in there. But I think it's got possibilities. So I'm not going to write it off. I will just stick it in a box for now. And when I have an engine stand free, I'll throw it on a stand. And we'll pull the bottom end down. And the crank, I believe, should be salvageable in the block. I mean, that's just cleanup stuff. My only curiosity is the cam, because they're down on the bottom side. And the cam gears, probably the oil pump. But, you know, this isn't anything I intend to do a build on anytime soon. Maybe I'll get it apart, see how bad it is, see what all I need. Because, I mean, they're pistons. These will clean up. They're standard bore. They're still good. They're not all chewed up. I guess if I was really, I mean, the rings aren't even busted. So if I was really ghetto, I'd even reuse the rings. But this is the piston that was stuck the worst. And I'd have no problem cleaning this up and reusing it. I mean, you know, not a big deal. None of the wrist pins were stuck. So, yeah, these things are interesting the way the rod bolts go from this direction. I've never been into one, so it's kind of neat just to take one apart, but I've never had a motor be this difficult to get the heads off or even get the pistons out of. You know, with all them cooling pins on the heads, they're just a pain in the ass. There's nothing to pry against. So, anyway, guys, yeah, this was just something for fun. And maybe at a later date we'll revisit it and throw it together for cheap. Like I said before, you know, if I happen to have a good VW motor, maybe I find a buggy or a rail or whatever. But it is a 1600 dual port, so this might even be a stroker motor, but it looks pretty stock to me. I don't know. I'm not a Volkswagen guy. I don't know if they had flat top pistons. I don't know anything about this. So, but just something fun to do. I just wanted to know what was stuck inside of it, or if it was blowed up or what. But by the looks of the motor, it looks like the transaxle was the issue why they quit running the buggy this came out of. So, anyway, guys, that's enough out of me on this one. I'm going to move on to other projects, clean this up, put everything in a box, and yeah. So, if anybody can tell me if flat top pistons were standard, let me know. Or point me to a good resource to tell anything about this. I know supposedly there's a number up here somewhere. Oh, right there. And that's hard to see, but I'm going to look up these numbers and see if I can see what, you know, what it come out of or all that. So, anyway, enough out of me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please thumbs up it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Free, doesn't cost you a penny. Helps out the channel a lot. And thank you guys for watching. Stay greasy, my friends.